Hey, welcome everybody. This is Dr. Ted, and I'm excited to be here because it looks like we've got a packed house today for this workshop. So this means if you can hear me right now, you were successful and you got on. So what I would do is stay on, okay? If you try and leave and then come back, you might run the risk of not being able to get back into the workshop room. So congrats to you for making it today to our workshop, which is called Forgiveness is Forgiving. The 5-step formula to break free from your past and create your dream life. I've also got a secret bonus gift for you at the end of the class today that will put your transformation on autopilot. So I'm very grateful to be here today because I usually do live workshops, as opposed to being behind a computer like this. So I'm beginning to do some more classes, like this, and I'm excited for this to just feel like it was in person. I'm really blessed to be able to share in this kind of online format and help as many people as possible really understand what the 5-step formula can do in their lives if they're able to follow it. It's really pretty simple to put these steps into practice, and you can master this concept in a matter of days. And you can rest assured that things will turn around very quickly for you in record speed by simply listening and mastering these 5 steps. So we're going to get started, and I see... Oh man, we really got a full house of people from all over the world. How cool is this? Okay, now before we begin, I want to make sure that you are ready to take notes and you have a pen and paper handy. If not, please go get them now, because I'm going to go fast today. And this way we're not here for the next week. I don't really want you to miss out on anything either. You're going to be able to walk away from this workshop today with all of the things you need to really turn your life around. So get ready and get rid of all the distractions too. Close your email, close your Facebook, ditch the cell phone. It'll be there waiting for you when you're done, I promise. I just don't want you to miss out on all the stuff that we're going to be going through. Also, I strongly suggest that you stay all the way until the end. Not only are you going to learn the 5-step formula, but I have an incredible gift for you to help you master forgiveness and bring it into the deepest parts of yourself. You're definitely going to get a lot out of this. Now, this webinar is for you if there's parts of your life that aren't working out the way you wanted them to, and you're looking to turn them around quickly. If you feel like you're stuck in a rut and just can't get out of it, and you're feeling abandoned or unloved, depressed, or just plain old stressed out, and this webinar is for you. If you're ready to break free from your past and experience a massive transformation and find peace and intimacy and unbelievable success. So today, you're going to learn the 5-step formula to break free from your past negative experiences in life that still affect you today, even though you consciously think that you've dealt with them. You're going to learn how your subconscious brain stores emotional life experiences in memory. And you're also going to learn the truth behind why we self-sabotage our own success in life. I'm going to show you a daily practice to keep your highest vibration clean and pure. And I'm going to show you what to do when you're faced with horrible negative experiences and how to know without a doubt if you've handled them the right way. And we're also going to be discussing how to reprogram your mind so that you become the master of your thoughts and live in a constant vibration of love, regardless of the circumstances around you. Now, I know you're excited to get going here, so let me take just a minute to tell you about me. I know some of you follow me, but some of you ended up here and you've never heard of me before, so let me just give you the quick rundown. I go by Dr. Ted, but my real name is Milton Theodore Morter IV. My wife always joked that I should have been a king with that name. I'm a 3rd-generation wellness physician and one of 13 doctors in my family. And the really neat thing about that is that every single one of them has been solely focused on the power our mind has and its ability to impact our health. It reminds me of the Isaac Newton quote, "Anything I've accomplished is from standing on the shoulders of giants." Our family legacy has been able to achieve far more than my grandfather alone ever could. So he was the first doc in the family, and he passed along his burning desire to improve the health of mankind worldwide. And this is fascinating to me because our entire conversation today about our mind and how it influences our vibration, it all came from me dealing with people's physical problems. But you can't separate the mind from the body. And where we're going to venture today is how those negative thoughts, those unresolved lessons, those horrible experiences from the past are still influencing and impacting your life this very second. Now, I've got a few cool testimonial videos on my website from some big names like Wayne Dyer and Jack Canfield and Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, and even one of my all-time favorites, Bob Proctor. Here we are together in this picture. You see, I've spent the last 15 years of my life digging deep into this incredible mind and body connection. And I've had the opportunity to work with thousands of people to help them naturally heal, the way our bodies were designed. And the fruit of all that hard work is what I'm here to share with you today. And I couldn't be more excited to bring you some of the best stuff I've discovered over the countless patients and years it's taken to get here. Now, just real quick, I want to thank you again for being here today. You took time out of your day, and I want to show you some love for making that commitment to yourself and your improvement. I'm probably a lot like you in regards to my past. I've had relationships end in big blowouts. I've had businesses crash and fail. I've been at the bottom of the piggy bank wondering how I was going to keep my house in order. I've been staring at the credit card statement and wondering how's this going to work out. And I'm sure that you've felt this before too, even maybe you're going through it now. You see, it's easy to experience negative emotions when times are tough. Just like it's easy to experience positive emotions when life is good. The real problem is that those emotions get stored into our memory and we get stuck in those moments of our past. And if it was a bad experience, we are anchored to it. This is actually what happened to me and ultimately forced me to find a way out of this never-ending self-sabotage that I was reinforcing. I only really discovered this out of necessity. I was in a bad place, and being backed into a corner is what kind of forced me or led me to discover these principles that I'm going to share with you guys today. It made me show up to my life differently, and I'd like to share that story with you. See, when I was growing up, we moved around a bunch. I was always being uprooted from my friends and my life to trek across the country and start all over again. By the age of 16, we had already moved 11 times, and my parents had promised me it would be the last. Now remember, I was 17 years old at the time, and I had just finished my junior year of high school, so it was summertime, and I was really looking forward to spending the summer months at the lake, and then starting my senior year with all my friends. That's not what ended up being in my future. And so I can see it still. It was around 8 o'clock one evening. There was a knock on my bedroom door, and both of my parents were standing there in the doorway. And I knew immediately something must be wrong. You know when your stomach does one of those flipperoo kind of things? They then proceeded to tell me that we would be moving again, and our family was moving 2,489 miles across the entire country, and that I would be finishing my senior year in a new school. Well, just like any teenager, I exploded into a tornado of emotions. I was furious at how matter-of-fact my parents were about the whole thing. It was like they didn't even care about me. I was depressed. Everything and everyone I knew was there in my town. I felt like a tree that was being ripped out of the ground, roots and all. And most of all, I was terrified. What was this new town going to be like? Everything was being stripped away, and I felt alone. And I'm sure your story is different. However, I promise you those emotions I felt are part of your past as well. They're like the common denominators that unite us all. We've all felt abandoned. We've all felt like we've been tricked. And we've all been afraid of an unknown path ahead of us. And it's in these moments when we get the rug pulled out from under our feet. These moments shut us down and force our subconscious brain to get stuck in the past. You see, we moved to that new town, and I had never felt more alone. I was literally shut down. My heart and my mind were closed, and if I could just keep it walled off to myself, then no one could hurt me again. So, I didn't really try to make the best of things. I actually did go to school, but I might as well have been a ghost. I didn't look at anyone. I didn't speak to anybody. I ate lunch by myself. And I would get lost inside of these books. Reading was like this glorious escape from the world for me. When I was really in a book, like really in there, you know how you get when you're reading, like I could visualize the hero cutting his way through the steamy jungle with his giant machete. And I could hear the call of the animals up in the jungle trees, and I could smell the musty earth under the hero's boots. I would get so lost in these books that people standing right next to me would have to say my name several times before I would snap out of it and pay attention. It was a pretty bad time, and it didn't really seem that things could get much worse until they did. And they actually got a lot worse. One Tuesday morning, I got off the bus, and I went straight to my first period class. It was a health class that was taught by the school's football coach. I'm sure you can imagine the type of guy that he was. Big, aggressive guy with a mustache and a whistle around his neck 24/7. I'm sure he probably wore it to bed. When I got to class that day, I was early, so I kind of sat in the back, which was what I normally did, and I dove into a book. And I must have been really into that book too, because I didn't notice that the class had started. The morning announcements had come on, and then everyone stood up to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. You know the one, I pledge allegiance to the flag, and so on. And then this is where I did it. I actually did it. I was so lost in the book that I did not stand up and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. And what happened next is forever etched in my memory. The coach came to my desk, shut my book, grabbed me by the arm in front of everyone, and dragged me into the hallway. He then proceeded to grab a fistful of my shirt and slam me into the row of red lockers behind me. He had me pinned down so I couldn't move, and he shouted, "You will never disrespect me, my country, and my God ever again. Do you understand?" Well, with my heart about to beat out of my chest, I mustered up a "yes, sir," and then he let me go. He opened up the door back into the room and walked inside, just leaving me standing in shock in the hallway. I went back into class, past all the kids pointing and laughing, and sat back down at my desk. And now, the reason I'm sharing this story with you, which isn't over by the way, is because I got stuck in that moment against the lockers. Even though the moment had obviously passed, the memory continued to play. And every time I thought about that day, all of the feelings of embarrassment and anger, the shock and disbelief, they would all come barreling back as if it was happening all over again. It was an event that had been anchored into my memory, something that I call a set point. I'll come back to that because I'm getting ahead of myself. What ended up happening to me over the next few years was really the bigger problem. I was so shut down after that experience, I wasn't sure if I would ever get back to the way I was before. I even found myself, years later, snapping awake at night because that old memory had surfaced. I would get so angry, and I'd have to get up and go watch TV for a while just to kind of distract myself and calm down enough so I could go back to sleep. Now, pay attention here. That memory had been stored deep inside my subconscious emotional brain. And one day, when I was doing dishes in my kitchen, it just snapped. I was cleaning dirty plates and thinking about how mad I was at that jerk football coach, and in that moment, I realized something. I was stuck in the past, and it was killing me. Here I was alone in my apartment and filled with rage and demons over a past experience. And in that moment, I made a declaration. And I want you guys to do this right now. I want you to get your pen. And I want you to make an intention. I want you to write down an intention that you have for your life. Make a declaration for your life right now and write it down. The declaration I made that day would change my life. I vowed to never let these emotional memories imprison me again. I said that I would figure out a way to free myself from the past. And that's exactly what I did. I was able to go from hating that coach and killing myself over the memory to actually being thankful that it happened and feeling tremendous joy every time I think of it. So what I did was start reading everything I could find about forgiveness and clearing past memories. Most of it was garbage, so I kept searching. I studied energy clearing kind of techniques. I chased down people that they seemed to like have the spark that I was missing. I wanted to know what it was. And what I uncovered from all of that was a pattern. And I'm going to share this with you guys as long as you remember that just because I'm the one teaching the class here, I'm no different than you. I'm just a guy who stumbled onto a blueprint. It's not like I was a pro at this. I just got myself into a situation that forced me to figure out a really cool system. And this is the same system that's helped me begin broadcasting a crazy high vibrational frequency and break the chains and shackles that had me tied to my past. It's the same system I've been using in my clinic with all of my patients, and it's the same system I'll be sharing with you today so that you can finally attract the results that you desire to. And I'll get to that in a second, but I gotta warn you here, okay? And it's about the real problem that we face. This is this kind of sneaky reason why you can think positively, you can do all the right things, and yet still manifest a bunch of junk in your life. And most people have no idea that it's not even their own fault. Now, I don't want to get all conspiracy theory here, but the real problem is that you've been lied to for years. These stories are stealing from you the life that you desire and the life that you deserve. Now, I get a little rowdy here, okay? Because one of these lies is that all you have to do is think positively and focus on what you want. Now, I bet you've heard the law of attraction teachers say this, and maybe you even believed it at one point, yet this is incomplete, and it's very detrimental to those that are looking for the truth. If you are one of the millions that bought into this story, into this lie, then you must decide now to believe the truth instead. See, if you don't, you'll continue to use your mind to, think and grow rich, and you'll ignore your most powerful magnetic signals. And these are the signals being generated by your subconscious brain. The signals that continue to broadcast 24/7. And if you're in a place in your life right now that you want to change, you most likely will be attracting more frustration and loneliness and debt into your life, despite all of your efforts to use your conscious mind differently. And eventually, no matter how strong your desire is, you simply give up on it all. And you leave with this bad taste in your mouth about that law of attraction scam that somebody pulled on you. So look, I don't want that for you, and I'm bold enough to say that I know it's not what you desire for yourself. If you really want to blame something for your struggles with law of attraction, don't blame yourself. Blame all these teachers and stuff that give you half of the solution. It's simple. You've been bombarded since the beginning with false and misleading claims. They'll say, you didn't focus long enough, or even worse, and this one makes me crazy too. Somebody told me once, you just don't want it bad enough. When you want it bad enough, then it will magically happen. And all of this junk out there, it's used to exploit and confuse good people. It confused me for years. The truth is that focusing your mind on positive dreams and goals is only half of the equation. Why? Because using your mind puts energetic focus on the future, and it completely ignores the hodgepodge of energies being created from your past. So right now, I'm going to show you exactly how your subconscious brain gets stuck playing out the past, like a record that skips and just plays the same thing over and over until you give up on your dreams and settle for the life that you're living. And as we go through this material, I want to relate it back to my story of the football coach and what happened to me when I was 17, so that you're able to parallel and follow, just filling in the blanks for experiences in your own life, okay? So we're going to dive into the solution here. And now these are the tips that I've shared with thousands of people, and they've used them to get the life that they deserve. And the most important of these tips is what I call the 5 steps of forgiveness. So I'll go through the specific 5 steps in just a second, so keep watching, because I first need to show you guys how the subconscious or the limbic brain stores your life experiences in emotional memory. It's kind of like a timeline on Facebook. It keeps a record of everything that has ever happened to you ever. So let's head to the whiteboard. So what we're going to do now is go through a few images, and really what I want is to help you get not only just hearing me, but get a real visual picture of what we're trying to forgive, what it is we're breaking free from, how we store things and how we get stuck in the past. Because I think if you can see this here, that it's really going to help you master the 5 steps. It's going to help you, bring it into every fiber of who you are, so that it's not like a head process that you're thinking about, but it becomes part of you. It's a visceral sort of woven into the fabric of who you are. And this is an important part. This is a foundational part. So for you to get it all, I'm not going to try and make a scientist out of you here, but I want to show you some pictures of how the brain works, and we're going to keep it really simple. So first I'm going to just show you who the players are, okay? So this is your brain and your spinal cord. This is a happy brain. So the reason that I show you this is because the brain and the spinal cord, they modulate all the functions of your body. So everything that's happening in your physical body is a direct response from information coming from the brain. And I'm, overgeneralizing that, I understand, but for the most part, that is true. So I want to take this brain, and we're going to delineate. I draw a line here, and we're going to separate them into conscious and subconscious. And I want to talk about what those mean and kind of define them for you. The conscious just means awareness. So this is the part of your brain or your frontal cortex or your frontal lobe, your prefrontal cortex. This is your awareness. So this is the part of your brain where you know your name. You know that, you want to have tacos for lunch. You know that, you want to take a nap. This is where you feel excited, or you feel very frustrated, or you feel really depressed. These are all areas of your brain that are working around your awareness. So things that are subconscious are really sub-awareness or below your awareness. So when we talk about subconscious, it's not a Freud thing. It's not your ego id. I always tell patients, we're not going to sit on a couch and talk about your feelings. I just want you to understand that your subconscious brain is what runs your body. Okay, you don't think about digesting lunch. You don't think about your kidneys filtering blood. You don't think about your hair and fingernails growing. It just happens under the guidance of something. So I'm going to show you where that pilot is that is sort of driving the bus. So I'm going to open up a doorway here between the conscious and subconscious brain. And what happens is in our awareness or in our present time environment, information comes in. This happens through the 5 senses. We process it, and then we send a message down into the subconscious where the pilot lives. So I'm going to pull the pilot up right here. And the pilot then sort of delegates what happens. But in a perfect world, this is all done from present time information. Okay, this is the 5 senses. We see it, touch it, taste it, smell it, hear it. It's about information coming in from my environment so that I can have an appropriate response not only in my physical body, but in my energetic body as well. So these are the players here, and I'm going to show you how this is supposed to work, okay? In the perfect world, this is how the information comes in and how the process works. So we're going to go through the animation again here. So let's say, number 1, something comes into my awareness. Let's say I see something and it's a bear. So I look across the road and I see a bear. So in that moment, I don't know what to do until I run back here to my memory bank. So number 2 in the picture here is it's almost like a card catalog, at the library, if you remember those. we run to the card catalog or to the memory bank and we look for our file that's called bear. So again, I see it, but I don't know what to do until I run back and I look up the file for bear. And when I find the file, I go, oh, this is bad. Like, this bear is he's gonna eat me. So a message comes from the conscious mind down to the pilot. So follow me in number 3 to this arrow. And the message to the pilot goes something like this. It goes, pilot, we've used the 5 senses to analyze the environment. We saw a bear. We looked up the file on bear, and this is bad. It's gonna eat us. So we need you to change what the body is doing so that we can run away. And this is what we call fight or flight. We can fight, we can stay and fight the bear, or we can run. So let's say we run in this example. Well, it requires a lot of functions in our physical body to change. Our blood pressure has to go up, and our heart rate has to go up, and our pupils dilate so we can see where we're running, among hundreds of reactions that happen instantly, just like at the snap of a finger. Your adrenaline starts pumping, your cortisol runs through your blood sugar increases. So I'm not going to go into all of that, but I just want you to see that in this moment, the pilot says, okay, I got the message. I'm going to get to work. Pilot now says to the body, all right, troops, listen up. We've got a message from headquarters and we need to get out of here. So what we do is what I call a stress response. We launch into this fight or flight stress physiology. All the chemicals, all of the tension in our body, and all of the tension and stress in our mind is just firing at 100%. So this is a good thing. If there's a bear coming, I want my body to behave like this. I want to be able to get out of there. I'm sure you've heard of superhuman feats of strength where like a mom can pick up a car because her baby is trapped under it. Just out of nowhere, boom, the system operates like you're seeing right here in this picture, and we're capable of doing things extraordinary. So let's say in our analogy with the bear that we run away. Whew, we're safe, we got away. The bear is gone. So now what happens is our body changes and it moves over to the other branch of it's technically our autonomic nervous system, but you don't have to know that. You just need to understand that there are 2 branches. One is a stress mode and one is a healing mode. They're technically parasympathetic and sympathetic branches of the autonomic system, but I just want you to understand that there is a stress mode and that there is a healing mode. So when we run away from the bear and we now are in a safe environment, we feel safety, we begin to breathe deeper with the belly and the diaphragm instead of shallow up here in the chest and the shoulders. The blood pressure goes down, digestion begins, and this is where we heal. This is where we repair. And a lot of this happens at night when we're asleep. It's what's supposed to happen when we're asleep. So in this picture right here, I want you to understand that the way it's supposed to work is we run away from the bear, and when the threat is gone, we transition back into this healing mode. Now, you would think that you want to live in this healing mode, right? This is where you're supposed to stay, The problem is that we don't live in a world that promotes this. I'm supposed to just jump over into stress response when I have a problem, but that's not the world that you live in. You and I don't live there. We live in this fast-paced, get-it-done, instant gratification, everything right now. It's on my smartphone. I'm bombarded from all angles all the time with these stress-inducing signals. So it ends up not working the way it's supposed to, and we end up getting stuck. So I'm going to show you in this analogy here how we get stuck in this stress mode. And I'm going to tell you this story just real quick. I call it my Bill's bear, and you're going to chuckle. Just like the way your physical body would react and respond to a threat from a bear. If there's a bear coming to eat me, I had this experience happen to me one day just going to get the mail. And here's what happened. I walk up to the mailbox, open it up, I pull it out. It's full of bills. Okay, there are 4 bills in the mailbox. And at the time, I only have enough money to pay for 3. So I don't have enough money. And immediately what happens is my brain short circuits and it shifts into that stress mode. So right there, while I'm holding pieces of paper, my body is beginning to react like I'm being attacked by a bear. And you know what I'm talking about. You've had these experiences. If you've ever been in traffic and somebody does something, and it's bad, and that's why there's a saying, road rage. It's because people, this is an easy place for them to just have that short circuit, that short fuse, and boom, they're off to the races in this aggressive attack fighting type of stress mode. So what happened to me was I'm looking at the bills and I know that I don't have enough money for all of them. So I'll even say first what I could have done was say, wow, this is great. I have enough money for 3 of these bills and I'm going to call the 4th, the company, and I'm going to tell them that I'm working on it and that things are going great. And next month I'll actually have the money on time. I'll set up a payment plan and life is awesome. I'm so blessed and so excited. See, I could have done that and I could have stayed in a healing mode, but I didn't do that. And most of us, not only do we know, we know to do that, right? But we don't do it. And it's because of, it's our programming. It's because of not only the stimulus around us in our world, but it's because of these past experiences that have us just reacting to life without even thinking, just like a knee-jerk thing. We just, boom, we go right into it. And so that's what happened when I looked at these bills. I went, oh my goodness, I don't have enough for the electric bill. They're going to shut off my power. I won't be able to recharge my beard trimmer, and I'm going to look shaggy, and I'm going to get fired from my job. And if I get fired, I won't be able to pay the rent, and I'll lose the house, and I'll lose the car, and now I live under a bridge, and I'm dead. It sounds really dramatic, but that's the way your mind goes. In like 1 millisecond, you go from, I can't pay this bill, to I live under a bridge and I'm going to die. And it's funny. I know that you do it too, because you're human. And I've worked with enough people to know that we all do this. It's in our wiring. And the reason that I'm sharing this story about my bills bear with you is because we all have bears. We all have our own bills bears. Okay. And they come at us from all directions all the time. So sometimes it's your bills, or it's something else. It's work. Sometimes it's, the neighbor. Sometimes it's a money bear. Here comes a money bear to stress you out. Oh, I don't have the finances. I can't pay the bills. I want, nicer things, and I just don't have the money. The family is a big one too. You gotta love them, but sometimes they can really test you. I'll just say that. But you know what I mean, that it's a stressor from the environment that creates a response in your body, just like the bills bear did. And they come from everywhere. Sometimes it's your health and it's pain that you're going through. Sometimes it's relationships, and then sometimes it's a really big thing. So these are, I'll call them little things. I mean, not to diminish them, but sometimes it's a big deal. Sometimes it's like you're in a relationship with somebody and you think it's going this way, and all of a sudden it goes that way, and you're like, whoa, where did that come from? I'm completely floored. I did not see that coming, and you're not ready for it, and it's a big, big deal for you. Or something like the loss of a loved one. They go home and you're not ready for it. and there's a lot of emotion. It's a big deal for you. So here's what happens. If you look at the picture here, all of these things are sort of coming in all the time, and the pilot is like, I don't know who to listen to. There's just too many messages, so guess what? I'm closing the door, and I'm not listening to any of you. You're all shut off, and the door slams shut. Now, this is, if you don't get any of this at all, get this right now, okay? When that door is slammed shut, nothing from your present time environment can get through to the subconscious. The subconscious is on lockdown. It's saying, I don't want to hear it. There's just too many things going on in the environment. I am cutting you off. And we literally stop our ability to process from present time information. We lose our ability to function the way we were supposed to. Remember, I showed you that first, how it's supposed to work, and we get stuck doing this. The pilot runs a constant stress response from memory. It can't get the information from present time, so it pulls it from memory, and it takes whatever experience that you were having at the time that was, maybe it was a big deal like we talked about in a very intense thing, but most likely it was just a ton of little things that just kept piling up and piling up on you until you hit your threshold, until you finally short-circuited. And this is what happens when like some little thing happens and people snap. Like, we don't put wooden spoons in the dishwasher, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's a huge deal and it's a big fight. And it just comes out of nowhere over some little thing, okay? What I'm saying is, when the door slams shut and we short circuit, the pilot now is going to run our body and run our life from information stored in memory that is going to create a stress response. And it's going to happen all the time. It's going to be 24/7. It sounds very simple, and that's because it is. This is a real simple concept. And what we're going to dive into in the 5 steps of forgiveness is how we open that doorway back up and how we reframe and reprogram even our mind so that the memory of those past experiences and those events is one that serves us, one that helps us stay in a function of healing and allows us to expand and reach our potential. The only way you're going to create your dream life is when you're functioning out of this healing place, when you are in a vibration of love and joy and bliss and abundance, not closed down, not shut off, not stressed out, not in defense and protection. It's when we are open. It's when our arms open and we are vulnerable and we expose our heart that we're able to step into the creation of what it is that we see our life becoming. This picture right here is the root cause of every single patient I see in my office. They are emotionally shut down, short-circuited, and their body is on lockdown. Kind of like you would imagine in a prison. If they sound the alarms and someone escaped, they're going to just lock everything down so that nothing can move at all. We're going into stress mode. So if you can see this right here, then you're getting it. And you're gonna really excel here in our next section, because as we step into forgiveness, I want you to think back to this picture, and I want you to think about the steps that you're going through are about you opening that trap door and shifting yourself into a healing and loving vibration. Because you see, this is exactly what happened to me when I was 17 and that football coach grabbed me and drugged me in the hallway and slammed me in the lockers. I was reading a book and I was somewhere else. I got bushwhacked. He jerked me out of that world that I was in inside of my book, drugged me out in the hall, and totally short-circuited me. So what ended up happening for me was every time I would think about that day or that coach, all of the old emotions would come back. Anytime I would have a memory of that, I would play the tape and the pilot would throw my body into the stress response. It's as simple as that. I would play the tape. You know the saying, they really push my buttons? It's what it means. It's that they know how to push play on your tapes and get you to act it out. Family is really good. They know just how to push your buttons. But what I'm saying here is that I, in that moment, shut down and I was stuck there. So I can look back on that now and realize and understand what was happening. But in the moment, I didn't get it. If I had known what I know now, I would have been able to handle that differently. I would have been able to process that and store it in my memory bank in a different way than I did. So that now, or I shouldn't say now, but so that I was able to think of it and feel good. That's really the point that I want you to understand. Because for years, I did not feel good about it. I thought of it and I was angry. And it wasn't even like I didn't have to think of the coach in that day. I could drive by a school and it would like trigger the memory. I could see somebody, when wearing athletic clothes and they kind of reminded me of the coach. And I would go right back to it and it would play out. And I knew that it was not only affecting my body, impacting my health, but it was trashing my vibration. The idea of being in a mindfulness state of hating someone and being angry and wanting revenge and wanting to get even is not conducive with me expanding, with me growing and being in a state of love and being able to create guided by my intention versus create being guided by all of the things that I don't want in my life. And this gets even better here because what we're about to dive into is the 5-step formula to forgiveness. I want to take a second right here just to clarify when I'm talking about memory and things that have been stored in our subconscious, have been stored in our emotional memory, that have been stored in a way that they can be triggered and we can sort of act out and play out the tape, the same way people push our buttons. This is what I call a set point. So it's SET, subconscious emotional trigger, or set points. And these set points are the keys that sort of that start the engine for us. Okay, so we are full of these set points. We've been establishing them our entire life. So basically, I'm saying there's a ton of past set points that we've created, and in the process that we're about to dive into here, we're going to talk about how you clean up some of the old set points. But I want to emphasize for you here how powerful and how important, how vital it is for you to begin building new set points that are positive and that reinforce the things that you're striving to attain, the stuff that you want to achieve. I know from personal experience that people want to run right to the how do I clean up and clear up my signal and get rid of the old set points, and they want to go into fixing mode and fix, which is okay, and it's an important step. But what I'm telling you is that if you can begin to focus on the other side of the coin and how you're going to build new set points, new powerful, reinforcing, high vibrational set points, then you get to this point to where the scale tips. And, you might have more negative ones than positive ones right now. But as you build more positive and more positive and more positive, it gets to a point where it's like a landslide. And the positive work that you've done begins to be the healing therapeutic effort that you're looking for. So when I show you the picture of the brain here, and now we get into the 5 steps, I need you to understand that it's about giving you that extra oomph and bumping you up so that you begin broadcasting a different vibration. So I want to warn you here. If you don't get this part, this is the centerpiece of it all. And so the whole thing is for naught, okay? I don't want to say that it's pointless, but this is where the rubber meets the road. This is what will finally force you to begin dialing in your high vibration broadcast, okay? A broadcast like a radio tower shoots out a broadcast of energy waves into the atmosphere. You're doing the same thing. And if you're wanting to change that signal and dial into something different so that you can begin attracting all the people and the places and the circumstances that will lead you to the life you desire, then you have to change that broadcast. And they are 5 simple steps that make it happen. You ready? I call them the 5 steps for giving. And it's kind of a twist on the word forgiveness because I don't want you to think that you know what this is, all right? This is unlike anything you've ever seen. It's not a rehash of some stuff that you've done before. This is about dealing with the experiences in your past, about dealing with that subconscious emotional memory. And first off, I want to give you permission that it's not about trying to connect with people, okay? So you can just let go of that. I'm not going to tell you need to call everyone up and tell them it's okay, because some things that people did, they are not okay. All right? I'm not trying to condone and say that you just have to be happy and joyful and that everything is, peaches and cream. You have to understand that this is not about anyone else but you. So you don't have to call them. You don't have to connect with them. You don't have to make amends with them. It's not about anyone else but you. So you don't need anyone for this to work. You don't have to talk to anyone for it to work, okay? This is about you and the relationship that you have with a memory. It's not between you and them. It's between you and the memory you have of that experience. It's about you and your set points. And as we go through these steps, I'm going to relate them back to my story, the one earlier with the football coach, so that, again, you can follow along with, the steps and how I implemented them and how they worked. Okay, your first step, and make sure that you're writing these down, okay? Step number 1 is to forgive yourself. Oftentimes, the one that you're the hardest on is yourself. And you need to cut yourself some slack, okay? I had to acknowledge that I was not trying to make the best of my new school. I was kind of being a jerk to everyone. I was ignoring everyone. My face down in a book all of the time, being short and snippy with people. So, I wasn't trying my best. I played a role in that. So I had to forgive myself for the role that I played that day. So whatever situation or experience that you're using these 5 steps on, the first step is for you to forgive yourself. Cut yourself some slack. Say, hey, you know what? I wasn't prepared that day. I could have done better. First, forgive yourself. The next step is to forgive the other. Now, I say other because sometimes it's not actually a person. Sometimes it's a situation like you got laid off from a job. So it's kind of hard to find a specific person to forgive. So it's a situation sometimes, and this is about you forgiving the other or forgiving the other person. I play a game here. I call it the understanding game because I find that it makes this step a lot easier. Because a lot of times people are like, I'm not forgiving them. No way. I'm not. I got to figure out my way to get revenge or to get even. I'm not like forgiving them, but this is the step that you have to go through. So play the understanding game with me here. I pretend that the person is going through some horrible life turmoil and that they finally just snapped. Because this is what I ended up doing with the football coach. I forgave him for the role he played that day because I knew the way he acted, it wasn't about me. It was about him. I had in my mind this horrible situation that he was probably going through. And it turns out that actually ended up being true. I found out later after the fact. But what I realized playing the understanding game is that he didn't act that way because of me. That was about him. He was trying to deal with his own stuff. That was him trying to work through his own set points. He had his subconscious emotional triggers in play and in action. And just like I said earlier, the little things pile up and then all of a sudden we blow up into a huge fight. That's what happened to him that day. Whatever was going on in his life was building and building until one day he saw me not standing up to recite the Pledge of Allegiance and reading my book in the back of class, and he snapped. So it was about him trying to work through his stuff, and I could only reach that conclusion by playing the understanding game, by trying to say, I bet there's something else going on that I don't know about. Like the iceberg, most of it's under the surface and you can't see it. I like to play this understanding game in traffic too. Somebody's driving real fast and they cut me off and they're zigzagging around through lanes of traffic. I used to get really mad about that and be like, that guy's crazy. He's going to kill someone. What a jerk. And I'd get all hot about it. But I started playing this understanding game where I say, you know what? I bet you he just got a phone call that his wife is in labor and he's trying to get there so he can be on time to see his child come into the world. You see how I just reframed that? I just put the spin on it that actually made me smile and it made me feel good. It was because it was about understanding someone else's point of view as opposed to just me being the center of the world. So the second step was about forgiving the other person, the other situation. So the third step in the 5-step formula is to give the other person or the other, give them permission to forgive you. Now, I'm going to say it again because people get stuck here and their brain kind of goes, You give them permission to forgive you. You go, well, wait a minute. Why am I giving permission for them to forgive me? I didn't do anything wrong, okay? It was the other person that did the wrong thing. Well, I'm here to tell you that it takes two to tango, and maybe, just maybe, sometimes you're not such a peach to be around. I had to give the coach permission to forgive me for acting like such a brat that day. Remember, the entire time I'm going through this process, I'm doing it by myself. I'm not calling the coach on the phone to talk to him and say, hey, coach, I forgive you for acting the way you did. No, it's not like that. Some people have done some pretty bad stuff, and it's not like you can ever forget it. So forgiveness is not about forgetting and moving on. And it's certainly not about saying that what they did is okay. It's about your freedom. Holding on to all that junk is like trying to walk up a hill with a backpack full of rocks. It's crazy. And the way you deal with these old set points that are stored in memory is step 4. You learn a lesson from the encounter and you see the good it provided you. Have you ever seen people that hunt for gold? There's a lot of TV shows about it that are pretty interesting. These guys will move thousands and thousands of pounds of dirt just to find one tiny little nugget of gold. There's tons of dirt all around, okay? But they're not looking for dirt. They're looking for gold. You've got to realize that hidden inside that giant pile of dirt called a set point, that giant pile of dirt that is a conglomerate hodgepodge of negative experiences from your past, there is a golden nugget there for you. There is a valuable lesson for you to uncover. You just have to stop looking for all the dirt all the time. Start looking for the gold. The day that the football coach did that, that day in my, timeline, it was an incredible lesson. And it taught me about compassion and understanding. And it taught me about unconditional love. Really, it made me take responsibility for my role in life. And more importantly, it made me realize that the way other people act, it's about them. It's not about me. So I want you to look at this picture here, and it's just an idea about encountering a, quote, problem and seeing it from a different vantage point. Okay, so here I am trying to get over here, and the fastest way to get somewhere is a straight line. Okay, but let's say there's a big problem that shows up in the way. So now I can't take my straight path of least resistance. I actually have to go walk around this new obstacle that's in my way, this problem, okay? But what happens is I walk around this obstacle, I'm now looking at things from a different angle. I'm looking at them from a different perspective. And what happens in that moment is I see things differently. See, without that problem, that obstacle being set there, I would have never been forced to walk around and see things from a different perspective. I would have not seen that new way of being or living. I would have not shown up. See, this is what happens. The things that we call problems, they force us to show up to our life in a different version of who we are. And what I'm telling you is that those are all lessons for you to learn. They are all lessons, and nothing in your life ever happens to you. Write this down. Nothing in your life ever happens to you. It all happens for you so that you can learn a lesson. And life is a bunch of lessons, is it not? The craziest thing that I've seen time and time again, without fail, is that people that do not learn the lesson, that lesson always comes back. And it gets harder, and it gets harder, and it gets harder. And everybody learns it. Everybody gets it. It's you. Sometimes it's someone in their last breath. They say, "Oh, tell them I love them." See, everyone gets it. I just want you to get it sooner. I want you to get it now. Right now. I want you to walk away from this being different. You at the very core of who you are, will foundationally and vibrationally be a brand new person. It's as simple as a decision. You just decide, I'm going to look for the lesson and I'm going to celebrate this experience. I'm so glad that it happened to me because here's what I learned. Here's why I'm a better person. Here's what it forced me to do. Here's how I'm now showing up to my life in a different way, in a different version of who I am. One that's full of joy and love. One that's packed with bliss and composure, intimacy, the feeling of birth and renewal in every single moment of real unconditional love. And I know you understand this. I know you're striving for the same thing. So here's how you know if you've done it correctly. And this is step 5. And I said I was going to teach you something to show you how you would know if you did it correctly. Like, how would you know if you did it right? Well, this is step 5. You have to be able to think of that situation or that person and feel good. You have to be able to do this. You have to be able to wish them well and be thankful that that happened to you. Be so very grateful. And people, this is where they hit me. They're like, "Ted, when I was a kid, my father, he drank a lot and he beat me." How is there a lesson in that? Where's the good in that? How do I find the gold there? Well, there's always a silver lining. There's always a lesson. There's always a nugget in there. And I would say that if you were in that situation, then it's your calling and duty to make a decision right now. The lesson I learned is I know how it feels to be receiving that. And so I will never, ever, ever do that. I will not do that to my children because that type of abuse, it runs generationally in families. You know, the father did it to the son did it to his son, and he did it to his son. You get to say no more. It stops right here. I'm putting my feet into the ground and making a decision. I'm saying that I know how this feels, and I'm in control. This doesn't control me. I am the one steering the ship here. And so I'm going to make a decision and a choice to never do this. And it ends here with me. And maybe even from there, you can reach out to other people that have gone through what you have and help them stop that lineage right there so that not only are you ending generations of this problem, but you're inspiring other people around you to do the same, and you have this ripple effect into the world. See? You see how there can be a lesson there? I challenge you, if whatever problem you're going through, whatever you're faced with, if you can just be open, you don't have to figure it out, but just be open to the fact that it's in there. There is a nugget. You don't have to find it right now, okay? You don't have to lie to yourself and get all happy, rah-rah like a cheerleader or something. I just want you to set the intention that you're open to it surfacing, that it can come up, that it is in there, and that your highest good is to find that lesson and connect with it because it is a high vibration. And when you connect with it, it will permeate you. Mark Twain has a beautiful quote, and he says, "Forgiveness is the fragrance that the violet sheds on the heel that has crushed it." Wow, Man, I get goosebumps saying that quote. That even in the death and destruction of its life, the violet will shed its lovely fragrance on the heel that took that life away from it. And I know this is a metaphor, but this is a way that we need to strive to live our lives, to always be in a state of unconditional love. When I think back about the day with the coach, I'm flooded with gratitude and joy and super high vibration emotions. I'm so thankful that the coach and I created that moment together. I can only hope that he was able to take something positive from it as well. And, he might have. He probably didn't, because 9 out of 10 people don't know how to look at the world this way. They don't know what you now know. They don't know the 5 steps to forgiveness. And now that you know, all right, here's what's up. You know the formula. And this is about you. It's not about having to talk to any of these people ever again. It's about you relating and dealing with what I call a set point, which is just a trigger. It's a subconscious emotional trigger. It's about you dealing with the past. And I know that was a lot. And so you might be overwhelmed or confused, or maybe you're even wound up a little bit right now, which is great. I mean, that's okay. What this means here is that you have 2 choices, okay? You can take this stuff and you can run with it. And I've given you guys so many great things that I know you're going to be able to turn around and by the end of the day, begin to create that shift that we talk about. Or there's choice 2. The savvy choice. This is the quickest, easiest, and smartest way to begin creating new powerful set points and reclaim your personal power to get what you deserve. Let me do the work for you. And guess what? I already have. Why start from scratch and try to reinvent the wheel when I've laid out your exact step-by-step blueprint already? One that's been tested for years. One that's responsible for countless thousands of men and women of all ages to stop killing themselves over the past and begin creating a new life by building new, forceful, and energetic set points and destroying negative past set points without ever having to talk to anyone about it. Here's what the vast majority of people decide to do, and it's called Window to the Mind. I'm Dr. Ted Morter IV, the creator of Window to the Mind. And I'd like to introduce you to the very first system that allows you to reclaim the vibrational attraction power that's being wasted and squandered by your subconscious brain. I want to teach you how to replace the negative vibrations created from your past and focus those energies to create your dream life, and how you can move forward in your life by building powerful new set points. This radically simple system will work for you even if you've tried things like hypnosis to affect your subconscious brain, or if you're a complete left brain analytical type. You've attended countless workshops and seminars about the law of attraction, and it just didn't work for you. And even if you believe that you're already looking for the positive in every situation, or even if you think you've tried everything. Now, let me tell you what Window to the Mind is not, just so you know exactly what you're about to experience. This is not another fad or flash-in-the-pan system about how you can focus your mind on being rich and then someone delivers bags of money to your front door. This is not some magic pill solution that promises to solve every problem you've ever had in just 20 minutes. You've been lied to enough. It's time for a solution that works without the gimmicks. Window to the Mind is the result of over 20 years of study, analyzing the most successful long-term patient case studies ever, as well as looking at the real reasons behind their subconscious sabotage and creating a clever solution to the age-old battle between their conscious and subconscious brains. And now, starting today, their success can be yours too. The patterns I studied and successfully duplicated give you the freedom to magnetize more success and wealth into your life. You'll finally begin to receive the benefit from all of your hard work. Your feet hitting the floor each morning with happiness and excitement as your dreams begin to mold and take shape right before your eyes. For the first time ever, you'll be able to reclaim the power from your past, leaving you feeling energized, powerful, and living the life you absolutely deserve. Now, before we go any further, it's only fair that I be absolutely 100% honest with you. If you're looking for a magic pill answer that you just have to purchase and then not do any work, or some other plan that you already know will never ever work for you, then leave this page now. This system is for men and women who know their past still troubles them, and they're ready to do the work that ends it once and for all. In short, there's no easy answers, yet I've made this as easy as it can get. So if you're wanting the real answer to forgiving the past, then here's what you can expect. If you want to exponentially increase the results you get by using the law of attraction, take back the power you gave away in your past, feel terrific every single day for no reason at all, and begin living your dream as if it were a game that you just couldn't lose, then this is not a system for you. It is the only system for you. Here's what Yaniv says. I'm already a very long time into this process, and I have to admit that you did a fantastic job here. I've achieved some serious results in my life, and now I feel like I can do even more. Stacy says, I'm a professional therapist, and I've been able to use the foundations of set points to help my clients break free from their past and move forward in a very powerful way. I really feel that you've hit the nail on the head. And McKinney says, I'm better able to respond to situations, good or bad, rather than just react based on my old programs. My family has noticed the old buttons they push don't have the same charge. So let's take a look at what you'll receive inside of the Window to the Mind system. In Module 2, you'll discover the foundation of using set points. This includes the exact way to create powerful new set points and instantly begin raising your vibrational frequency. In Module 5, I'll take you through a guided set point clearing to remove outdated negative programs and reclaim your personal power. And in that same module, I'll teach you exactly how to harness the energy and power of negative emotions so that you can focus that power like a laser beam pointed directly at your goals and dreams. This course is the only way to permanently cut your ties from the past and begin manifesting the life you truly deserve. As you've probably noticed by now, Window to the Mind is by far the easiest way to work with your subconscious emotional triggers, your set points, as it allows you to finally receive the benefits from all of the hard work you've done. And the results come fast, too. In fact, before they even finish going through the course, many set point users report a sense of freedom and lightness that they hadn't experienced in years. And that's amazing considering they are seeing these results and experiencing these transformations. Now, you may believe that a system that can do this much for you would cost a pretty penny, and in all honesty, it really should. After all, this system has helped thousands of people just like you to quickly cut the ties with their past and begin magnetizing more joy and abundance into their lives using set points. And I'm going to tell you what the price is in just a moment. First, I want to share a few other unique benefits this one-of-a-kind system will deliver to you. You'll discover the way that we inherit energetic set points from our mother and father's lineage through a process called epigenetics and how to stop those from sabotaging you. You'll also discover some really clever ways to feel fantastic all the time because your life has become an absolute blast. I've proven that the junk from your past is really an incredible gift of happiness and freedom, and I want to share those secrets with you too. Plus, I'll be revealing exactly how to define your dream correctly so that you don't use set points to work against you, and that's in Module 4. Now, the price of the Window to the Mind system sold by itself is valued at $297. Yet, you're not just receiving Window to the Mind today. Just for watching this presentation, I'd like to give you, free of charge, these value-added bonuses to help you master set points even faster. Your first bonus is called the Epigenetic Code, and it's valued at $37. This conversation is about the energetic set points that we inherit from our mother and father, and how they influence and affect our current lives, but more importantly, how we deal with that stuff so we're not subconsciously sabotaging ourselves from their old, outdated junk. The next bonus is called the 6 Battlegrounds, and it's valued at $37. This is kind of like your scorecard. These are the 6 areas in your life that you make choices in every day. And if you want to know if you're winning the battle, you need to know what the score is. The 6 Battlegrounds is your scorecard. And this last bonus is terrific. It's called the 10-Day Fast Track Guide, and it's valued at $27. This is a day-by-day and step-by-step fast track for you to be able to start getting results immediately. I'm talking about in the first 10 days. Each and every day, you're going to make a few notes in this guide, and it will catapult you into results. Now, you can see why Window to the Mind is valued at $297. Even without all the bonuses, this is a real steal. And if you bought the bonuses by themselves, your total today would be $400. However, just for watching this today, I've got a much better deal coming your way. So just keep watching because it won't last much longer. Of course, you could choose to continue on the path you're on right now and pay 10, 20, maybe even 100 times this much money in the near future in the form of bargain price programs that promise the moon, while you blindly pass up opportunity after opportunity to attract better paying jobs and magnetize the people into your life that elevate and support your dreams. And let's not even talk about the horrible situations you're going to recreate in your future if you just keep doing what you're doing now. And that isn't what I want for you. So let's make this a really easy decision, okay? I feel you deserve to know why I'm about to offer you such a massive discount today. So let me share my dream with you. It's a cause that I'm inviting you to join, along with thousands of other folks just like you who are ready to reinvent their lives. They're ready to drop the baggage and take back the power they gave away so long ago. They're ready to create a deep sense of confidence and peace, and above all, share that new life with the world. A few years ago, I set an inspiring goal. I decided to dedicate myself to helping 1 million men and women step into their power and truly experience what inner peace felt like. I knew that if people could experience on a personal level the sense of peace and freedom that set points bring, that we could begin to transform the world and get one step closer to world peace, one step closer to the armies of the world laying down their weapons and reclaiming their own personal power, instead of trying to take power from others through force and war. Can you imagine it? How much joy would that create? How would the next generation of our children grow up to be? How many other people would be inspired by this cause? The bottom line, I decided that I need to let as many folks as possible join in this cause, a cause I call Elevate the World. So the good news, this means a much lower price for you, because I want you to join the cause and I don't want finances to stop anyone. That means today you will not be paying the retail value of Window to the Mind and the bonuses, not even close. So your investment today will not be $400 as it should be, but it's not going to be today, not even half of that, not even $167. Your total investment today, which includes the Window to the Mind system and all the bonuses you see above, is now only one payment of just $97. Listen, don't decide right now. Take advantage of my unconditional triple guarantee. Just try the Window to the Mind system for yourself for a full 30 days. If you don't begin creating moment after moment of synchronicity in those 30 days, or if you don't experience a shift in your personal energy and vibration in the first 10 days, even if you just don't like the colors I use in the website, or the fonts I use, you name it, I'll gladly refund every penny. No questions, no hassles. Click on the button that says Add to Cart to claim your discounted price now. You'll join thousands of other Window to the Mind success stories like this one from Stefan. I have a profoundly deeper understanding of how my emotions are connected to my physical body and how they affect my energetic vibration. Rebecca says, I discovered that just feeling good now was like this magical switch that allowed me to just relax and enjoy my life on a much deeper and spiritual level. I've had so many cool coincidence-type moments happen lately that I know it can't be coincidence. And Jenny from Australia says, Window to the Mind forced me to look at my problems in a different way, a way that was full of power and certainty. I listen to you every morning in the kitchen while I cook breakfast. So if you act now, before this presentation ends, I'll toss this one-of-a-kind super bonus to you worth over $97. This is my Inner Circle coaching program. This is your chance to get time directly with me, to get really deep into the conversations and the lessons that you learn inside of Window to the Mind. This is where we start with the foundations of set points and go to the advanced levels to truly make the permanent changes in your life. It's a fantastic bonus for you, and it's going to truly help you master using set points. That brings your total value today to $495. Yet today, if you act now, It's all yours for just one payment of only $97. Remember, it's not just a great bargain you're getting today. You'll be joining one of the most important movements for world peace in history. You'll be part of an ever-growing, caring, and enlightened community that are becoming the true leaders of our world. Click on the button that says Add to Cart to claim your discounted price now. You'll be granted immediate access to everything, the Window to the Mind system and all of the bonuses, plus your free access inside the Inner Circle coaching series worth $97 just for taking immediate action today. Here's what will happen the moment you click the Add to Cart button below this video. First, you'll be taken to our 100% secure checkout page. Then, after you order, you can get started right away, as there's no additional add-ons or supplemental products to purchase. I've given it all to you on a silver platter. It's that simple. Remember, you've been struggling to create the abundance you deserve for far too long, and the pain of continuing in a state of inaction will only lead to more despair and more frustration and a continued repeat of your past. Yet all of this can change the moment you begin applying the quick start principles inside of Window to the Mind. Picture the moment you finally have the answer you've been looking for and your path to the ideal you. You feel alive, full of renewed hope and optimism. You see the abundance that flows into your life today and every single day after. You're experiencing the energy, the sense of peace, and the confidence that comes with the results that you deserve at long last. Yes, it's true, your struggle up until today has largely been no fault of your own. It's true that you've been fed a false story about how the law of attraction actually works. However, today marks your day to take responsibility, to take the action necessary to put an end to the lies and begin on a new path of truth that simply works. And unlike those phony solutions, this one is guaranteed to work. Try it for a full 30 days and see the results you desire, or you pay absolutely nothing. Plus, you're always minutes away from an answer from our friendly support staff. Immediately after you order, you need to watch the Quick Start video on the home page. It will walk you through, step by step, the lessons that you'll need to blast away your old set points and the lessons to install new set point programs right away. This way you can choose which areas are the most important to you and your unique needs and get you immediate results. Remember, along with your Quick Start video guide, you'll also be receiving the complete new edition of Window to the Mind. This is your easy-to-follow formula to master the power of set points and create the life of your dreams. The epigenetic code, so you can understand how the set points you inherited from your ancestry still affect you today. The 6 battlegrounds, which is your cheat sheet to expose where your daily battles are fought and won. And the 10-day fast track guide to help you begin seeing results in as little as 10 days. I'm also giving you complete access to my Inner Circle coaching series so that you can become a true master of your own personal power. Just don't put this off 1 second longer. Here's why. First, as you recall, I lowered your price for watching this presentation, so you can jump in now. Yet I'm going to raise that price back to where it deserves to be. So act now before that happens. Also, you don't want to feel left out if my super bonus, the Inner Circle coaching series, caps out its membership quota. Only the first comers will be guaranteed access to it. Everyone else is out of luck. And let's not forget, unless you take action now, today, you may never take action. You may do what some people do and put it off just a few more days, which will turn into months and then years. So let's make sure you get what you really want and do the only smart thing you can do. Take advantage of this limited time offer while you still can and wisely get on the right path to a simple life full of abundance and happiness today. Click the Add to Cart button below and let's get you started now. And as promised, I've got an awesome gift to help you get your forgiveness on autopilot. It's a meditation pack, and it's not only a guided meditation that I take you through, but there's a second bonus meditation where I actually go through the process myself, and you can hear firsthand how I use it to deal with my own personal, my baggage and all of my set points as well. So here is as promised, an awesome gift for you and a way to say thank you. Thank you for being here. for staying all this time with me and really for making this commitment to yourself. It's important, and I just want to recognize you for that. So hopefully I will see you guys inside of the Window to the Mind course. And if not, I look forward to hanging out with you some more, and I will see you guys soon.